ultimately just make our characters super busted OP, man. I want to see those ATB charges. I want to be able to give certain moves ATB refunding capabilities, get more ATB charges on top of that. I'm ATB crazy right now, chat. I need help. In my playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, again, shout outs to Square Enix for doing that. They hooked me up with invites to playing the game in Vegas, and I really did enjoy my time with it. We put out a video talking about all of the details in there, but there's a lot of hidden details I either missed or a lot of people missed. But in general, once that stuff's released to the public, people are able to dissect things and bring other cool details to our forefront of knowledge. Shout outs to Maria. She's a big member in our community. She's in our Discord community. You've seen her on Twitter. If you haven't yet, please follow her. She does awesome wallpapers and really fantastic work with that stuff. These are all made by her. She does a really good job. If you love Final Fantasy in general, definitely follow her. These are all taken in-game and edited by her in the best ways possible. So shout outs to Maria. She actually hooked us up with this right here. She found the full stat list of the characters. Like in my playthrough, I didn't even go through this menu at all. Like if I show you guys my menu that I went through, see right here, I just went through like the game's like menu where you could customize stuff, and I saw I couldn't customize the characters and I got depressed, and so I took it off right there. But like you can see, like, okay, yeah, attack, magic, attack, defense, the standard stuff that you've seen before, right? It's not that really big of a deal. However, if you look, she was able to go through another menu. I think this is like the full party menu where you can like see the entire like loadout of what everybody has. Now, it's important to note that in this demo build, we could not adjust or change equipment in the Junon demo. In the Nibelheim demo, we can customize materia, but we couldn't change the equipment. Same kind of like here, but you couldn't change the materia either, which was big rip. But materia does affect your stats. If you look at it right here, you can see all the new character stats in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Starting with Cloud, I mean, he's always been the all-rounder character. He's going to have high attack, he's going to have high magic attack, but he's not going to actually excel in one specific category higher than everybody else. He's just going to be well-rounded character. Tifa has the highest attack right now, even though her and Cloud have like matching strength. It's because she's a monk. She's the physical big damage dealer, and she's kind of like the glass cannon too, with like lower defense in that sense and a lower health pool. And that's just how you typically balance these characters around. And you see she's got the leather gloves on, Volbe's bracelet, and a talisman, which, correct me if I'm wrong, talisman that buffs spirit, right? She's DPS. She's DPS for sure. Cloud has power wrist guards on and an Alpha Dunk bangle. Alpha Dunk is like one of those enemies that we get to fight in like the demo, so it's gonna be really cool to see how we can full on go ahead and create all kinds of different armors and equipment based off of the enemies we fight and the materials we collect and what we can do with that, right? But of course, the best thing about this is we do see the standard stats here going all the way down to like speed, but we get new stats that are introduced here. We get critical hit rate, which was never shown before, and critical hit damage, and as well as ATB charge bonus, initial limit level, and max limit level, which we do have to talk about this. This is a really cool find right here. But crit hit rate and crit hit damage is huge for me because, I mean, that was always a hidden thing behind luck, and luck affects many different values, but mostly is pertaining towards your crit. To see that, like, you know, the crit hit rate actually has an actual individual stat bonus right here, it's going to be really cool because this means that we get to get more out of skill trees, because yes, this game does have a skill tree system. We've heard the devs talk about that in a lot of interviews, and that's going to be a big factor in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, just having that skill tree. Yeah, and every character in this is also level 22. Like you see, Cloud is here, level 22. If I had to classify these characters, like which we will do just now, I think that the stats reflect and make a lot of sense. We'll come back to these for a second. So Cloud being the all-rounder, balanced character, he doesn't overly excel in any particular stat over any, and like, you know, he might, I think his defense is probably higher than Barrett's, I would say, but his vitality isn't as high as Barrett. So let's see, vitality's 23, 21, Aerith is 19 because she's, again, like the biggest damage magic attack dealer. She's gonna have lower defense, lower health, just to balance those things around, and also a lower attack. Barrett does have a higher vitality, 29 for HP. His defense is 43, whereas Cloud was 49, but that's also probably because of the Alpha Dunk bangle. I feel like that's like a tanky, more I think that like benefits defense a little bit more. Aerith has earrings on, which do boost, was it 5% magic attack or magic stat? And Barrett's got his bulletproof vest on. and a witch's armlet, which I want to say is helping him out magic-wise. But Barrett is the ranged character. Again, like, you know, he's pretty balanced too. His attack and his magic attack are similar. His vitality is where Barrett excels at. And let's look at Red. If I had to look at these stats and compare the two, Red is up there in attack. His magic attack. Red was he the third best like magic attack stat character in the OG game? Correct me if I'm wrong there. Red and Tifa both have that higher magic defense. But of course, it's obviously pertaining towards the equipment that they might have. But the stats that really do intrigue me are the crit hit rate, the ATB charge bonus. Like, that is a huge thing right there. Because in my playthrough, I specifically said that ATB charges or ATBs like recharging felt slower. Like for Sephiroth, it was big. Like let's pull back up. Sephiroth, look how much faster Sephiroth builds up like ATB compared to Cloud. This answers a lot of questions that I was concerned about. I was worried that they nerfed ATBs in general, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. They've actually just made it so that early on, it's a thing that you have to gradually build and expand on, right? Level it up in the skill tree and get characters stronger in that sense. And that's something that I'm really excited about because I did not see this in my playthrough, but that's a huge deal. ATB charge bonus. And right now it's like 0%. I don't know if this is based on their equipment or if this is based on what they have going on in their skill tree, but it does seem like it's going to be beneficial a lot more ways than we ever thought of, right? I mean, everybody in this has it at 0% right now because this is still technically early-ish in the game. Sorry, with Tifa's Focus Strike seemingly being nerfed because of the fact that it doesn't refund ATB anymore, that's probably done on purpose because they have other ways to refund ATB between this right here and possibly more stats inside of the skill tree. Maybe there's something in the skill tree that you can equip onto a character passively that makes certain moves of theirs refund ATB. That would be awesome. If they went ahead and took that route, I would honestly not be upset at all about them removing and kind of nerfing Focus Strike in the way that they did, and just made it so that you can kind of equip characters with that passively, so that this way they can full on refund their own ATB with other attacks, not just that one, specifically other ones. You know how in the OG game we get to sort between different levels, like you could sort through level 1, and level 1 had Cross Slash and Braver, level 2 had Blade Beam and Clim Hazard. And level 3 was Meteor Rain and Finishing Touch. I don't think it's like that. I think what this is how much limit level you'll gain in battle. Because in battles, like limit breaks just they build up fast. Like if we go right and we look at this one, Cloud already has his like significantly higher. This is way higher than it would ever get in Remake. In Remake, okay, yeah, and Stagger, that's a big bonus. Like you stagger the enemy, you're getting a lot of limit off of that. Wow, look at that. So you get about a quarter. A little bit more than a quarter, actually. 1. Yeah. Definitely get a big boost of it off of pressuring people. That's great to see. I love that they're listening to people, because like limit breaks felt like there was no point in Remake, right? This is so much better. Absolutely way better. Yeah, so looking at Aerith right here, chat, you know, you get to know about her long range kit and all that stuff. But remember in Remake, she had a skill, an ability called Fleeting Familiar, where you can use 1 ATB. It brings out this little fairy, and the fairy butterfly thing deals damage based on abilities and big attacks that Aerith does. It costed 1 ATB, and it was an individual ability you had to use. Whereas now, they got rid of that. You don't have to do an individual ability and waste ATB to do Fleeting Familiar. Now Aerith, if she just holds down square to charge her Tempest attack, which is the big diamond that she could put on enemies, and if it explodes, it hits them multiple times and gives her a lot of ATB, it will summon a Fleeting Familiar. And I do that multiple times in my playthroughs with Aerith, actually. I'm going to launch it right here. See, it's not around her yet, but there we go. See, throw it out, and it pops on him right there, and boom, she has the fairy is right here, this little blue butterfly, and basically it'll deal attacks with her. And I love that they integrated that into the character's base kit. So now we still have to wait and see, of course, because when the skill tree becomes accessible, there's going to be more details. Among all of these new stats right here, between crit hit, damage, ATB charge bonus, limit level, max limit level, that stuff being a thing, I can only imagine just how much deeper the skill tree is going to get. Like, we're going to get a full-on, like a sphere board, like in Final Fantasy X. Like, this shit's going to get nuts. When do you think we can expect the next trailer? I mean, hard to say. So far, it's been like every month we've been getting something new, right? So it's very possible that we could get something this month, maybe relating to Vincent and Sid. It's also possible that we could get something for like Video Game Awards, which is in 38 days from now. A month and a week. We got 5 weeks until the Video Game Awards. Yo, time is flying, chat. I think 100% we see something at Game Awards. There's no way. It's like the biggest like event of these past couple of years, and the best trailers have been coming out of it. And there's a lot of people every year. They get like 20,000 more people watching more and more of the Video Game Awards. So I think it's a very, very potent and popular place for them to have that shit, right? Demo, I wouldn't expect the demo until like January, closer to release, maybe beginning of February, who knows, right? Because the game is coming out technically when March is supposed to start, February 29th, leap day. There's so much more packed into this game that this time around that they did with Rebirth, continuing on from Remake. And I think the skill tree is something that we have yet to see, but when we do see it, it's going to be very wild in terms of like how much crazier customization wise you can make this game. And you know, that's right up my alley and something I'm greatly looking forward to. You know, between the crit hit damage and rate actually being listed as a thing, ATB charge bonus being a thing, and the initial limit level as well as like max limit level too. So can't wait to see just how much deeper these stats get in Remake, Rebirth, and what other moves we can expect to see, because there's a lot of moves that have been embedded into the character's like default kit and abilities, and we've seen a limited amount of abilities so far. There's a lot of stuff left to still be seen, and when we do see them, I think that they're gonna have all kinds of various like functions with the skill tree. I think certain moves you can unlock a passive for, maybe equip a certain passive. Like, okay, maybe this move typically is a big damage move, but you can sacrifice damage with it to refund ATB and deal more pressure or something like that, you know? Like Focus Strike. Okay, I'm just over here clamoring and wanting Focus Strike so bad. Everybody had one new ability and 3 returning abilities. So Cloud, his 3 returning abilities were Triple Slash, Braver, and Focus Thrust. And his new ability was Firebolt Blade. And that was the case for everybody. Everybody had 3 returning abilities and 1 new one. For Tifa, the new one was Reverse Gale. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth specifically has a lot of good things going for it. And I really do love all the additions they've made and the future enhancements that we have yet to see. Like, they've mentioned and talked about the skill tree before, and I think it's going to be a big deal and probably have its own dedicated trailer because of all the crazy little tiny details and stat changes that we could see in the game already. Most definitely are things that have and pertain to the skill tree. Because if you look back at like Sephiroth, for example, he has that integrated ability where, like with Aerith's Radiant Ward, if you're casting a spell or an ability on top of her Radiant Ward, you can't be interrupted by enemies with it, right? Sephiroth has that built into his kit because when you're casting things with him, he doesn't get knocked out of it, he doesn't get interrupted. He will take damage, but he's not going to get animation canceled. So that's pretty cool. And I wonder if that's a thing that we can see in skill tree and get for a lot of characters, and just ultimately just make our characters super busted OP, man. I want to see those ATB charges. I want to be able to give certain moves ATB refunding capabilities, get more ATB charges on top of that. I'm ATB crazy right now, chat. I need help. But if you found this stuff exciting or interesting, I want to hear from you guys about what you think in the comments below. Let's get a discussion going. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you are new. More Final Fantasy videos are on the way and you don't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ, and thanks for watching.